Welcome, everyone, to today's fascinating journey into the world of rare coins, a place where history, artistry, and the tiniest of mistakes converge to create unimaginable value. And today we are going to explore one of the most extraordinary examples of this phenomenon, the 1991 D quarter dollar, a coin that has captured the attention of collectors and numismatists around the world because of its stunning rarity, unique errors, and mind-boggling market value, which, as of recent reports, can reach an astonishing $13 million, a figure that might seem almost impossible for a coin that was once merely considered everyday currency. And yet, it is precisely the errors and anomalies present on this coin that transform it from an ordinary quarter into a treasure of immense financial and historical significance. As we delve into the specifics of these errors, it becomes clear that each tiny imperfection tells a story not just of the coin's production, but of the circumstances surrounding the United States Mint at that time, the intricate process of striking coins, the machinery involved, and the human oversight that inevitably played a role in the creation of such a rare specimen. The 1991 D quarter dollar in question is particularly notable for a series of minting errors that collectively contribute to its astronomical value. One of the most prominent mistakes is the double die obverse, a phenomenon in which the die used to strike the coin has been impressed twice in slightly misaligned positions, causing a doubling of the design elements, most noticeably on the inscriptions such as the word Liberty and the date itself. This kind of error is especially prized because it reflects a deviation from standard minting procedures that is both visually striking and scientifically verifiable. Numismatists are drawn to the subtle, yet undeniable differences that such doubling creates. And each coin exhibits its own unique pattern, making no two double die coins identical, which adds layers of desirability for collectors who understand that the rarity is not just in the mistake, but in the singularity of each specimen. Beyond the double die, there is also evidence of die cracks and die chips, minute fractures in the metal die that imprint raised lines or bumps on the coin's surface. These anomalies might appear inconsequential to the casual observer, yet they dramatically increase the coin's collectible value because they signify a one-of-a-kind artifact created. By the exact moment the die began to fail, the timing, the pressure, the alignment, and the sequence of strikes all converge to form a coin that is impossible to replicate. And it is this uniqueness that transforms a common 1991 D quarter into a $13 million collectible. The 1991 D quarter also occasionally exhibits what experts call a broad strike error, a mistake in which the coin is struck outside the normal retaining collar of the minting press, resulting in a slightly enlarged and often misshapen coin. This error not only changes the dimensions of the coin subtly, but also alters the way light interacts with the design, creating unusual shadows and highlights that make the coin even more visually appealing to collectors who value aesthetic anomalies as much as technical ones. In addition to these physical errors, the 1991 D quarter is further distinguished by rare variations in the metal composition and weight. Some specimens have been found with slightly higher or lower copper to nickel ratios than the standard clad composition, and these deviations, though microscopic, can be detected by precise scales and spectroscopic analysis. And when such a composition anomaly coincides with other minting errors like double dies or broad strikes, the resulting coin becomes exponentially rarer and significantly more valuable. Another fascinating aspect of the 1991 D quarter is the phenomenon of repunched mint marks, where the D mint mark denoting the Denver Mint appears doubled or offset due to the die being stamped multiple times. These repunched mint marks, especially when clearly visible to the naked eye or under moderate magnification, create a kind of historical fingerprint, a visible record of the human and mechanical processes behind coin production. And collectors are particularly captivated by these because they combine artistry, accident, and documentation into a single tangible object. The story of the 1991 D quarter's value is also intertwined with its rarity in the collector market. Unlike more common coins that were mass-produced and widely circulated, the specimens exhibiting these errors are extraordinarily scarce, often existing as only a handful of verified coins, and scarcity is one of the fundamental principles driving numismatic valuation, when a coin is not only rare but also possesses multiple types of errors, each verifiable, each visually impressive, and each historically significant. The market naturally reacts with extreme enthusiasm bidding prices sky high. And the result in this case is the staggering $13 million figure, a testament to both the human fascination with rarity and the financial power of historical mistakes. Furthermore, the provenance of specific 1991 D quarters has enhanced their value dramatically. Coins with well-documented histories, including previous ownership by notable collectors or appearances in prestigious auctions, carry an aura of authenticity and prestige that mere minting errors alone cannot provide. The combination of provenance, aesthetic appeal, technical anomalies, and scarcity creates a perfect storm in which a single coin can command a price that rivals or surpasses even gold or diamond investments. Enthusiasts also study microscopic details of the coin to detect subtler errors, such as die polishing lines, unintentional doubling of certain parts of the eagle on the reverse side, misaligned rims, and even variations in the spacing of letters and numbers. Each of these details is meticulously cataloged and analyzed, sometimes leading to the discovery of previously undocumented error types that can add tens of thousands or even millions to a coin's perceived value. In addition, collectors and experts consider market trends, historical precedents, and auction records to assess the true worth of such coins. In the case of the 1991 D quarter, these factors converge spectacularly because it not only embodies technical minting anomalies but also reflects a historical snapshot of the minting process in the early 1990s, a period marked by evolving machinery, changing metal supplies, and heightened scrutiny and quality control. Each of these factors contributes to an environment in which a coin can become the stuff of legend. It is also important to note the psychological and emotional appeal that drives interest in this coin. Collectors are not merely purchasing a piece of metal. They are acquiring a tangible connection to a moment in history. A physical artifact that tells a story of chance, human oversight, and mechanical precision. The thrill of possessing a coin that so few people in the world can claim adds an intangible value, one that intertwines prestige, rarity, and personal satisfaction. And this human element is a critical component of why 1991 D quarter with the right combination of errors can reach prices as high as $13 million. The allure of these coins also extends into popular culture and media coverage, generating a feedback loop in which attention increases demand, which in turn increases price. And as stories of multi-million-dollar sales circulate through news outlets, coin collecting communities, and online forums, a kind of mythology forms around the coin, with enthusiasts debating the nuances of its errors, comparing specimens, and constantly seeking the ultimate perfect example. Collectors study the coin under magnification, documenting every ridge, line, and indentation, understanding that each subtle anomaly can dramatically affect valuation. And this meticulous attention to detail transforms the act of coin collecting from mere hobby into a highly specialized discipline that combines history, art, metallurgy, and economics. Additionally, the 1991 D quarter status is cemented by its inclusion in major numismatic reference guides, error catalogs, and auction house records, lending legitimacy and standardization to its valuation, as each coin is graded by expert organizations that assign quality ratings based on strike, luster, surface preservation, and prominence of errors. And those with the highest grades and clearest errors are naturally those commanding prices in the multi-million-dollar range. Furthermore, the combination of double die obverse, die cracks, broad strikes, repunched mint marks, metal composition variations. The 1978 quarter USA coin today, we are diving into an extraordinary story that will absolutely fascinate anyone with even a passing interest in rare coins. And specifically, we are focusing on the 1978 quarter dollar, a coin that has captured the imagination of numismatists around the world due to its exceptional rarity and the unique set of errors and mistakes that have propelled its value to an astonishing $13 million. And yes, you heard that correctly, $13 million for a single quarter, which is a number that most of us can barely even conceptualize. And yet it is a reality in the high-stakes world of coin collecting where provenance, minting errors, and sheer scarcity can transform an ordinary piece of currency into a veritable treasure worth fortunes. To understand why this particular 1978 quarter has achieved such legendary status, we need to explore in painstaking detail the types of errors that have occurred, how they came about, and why collectors and investors alike are willing to pay an eye-watering sum to own it. So let's begin by setting the historical and technical context. The 1978 quarter was produced during a period of extensive coinage at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. But in a few exceptional cases, something went drastically wrong, producing coins that exhibit misstrikes, double dies, and off-center impressions, among other anomalies. And each of these mistakes contributes differently to the coin's market value. First, consider the double die phenomenon, which occurs when the coin die. The tool used to stamp the coin's design onto a blank metal planchet is misaligned during the minting process, causing the design to be struck twice in slightly different positions, resulting in letters, numbers, or images that appear doubled when examined closely. And in the case of the 1978 quarter, collectors have identified an extraordinary instance of doubling on the obverse side, affecting the motto, "In God We Trust," and the date, which makes this coin particularly alluring to enthusiasts who specialize in die errors. In addition to the double die, there are reports of off-center strikes where the planchet was not perfectly aligned under the die, causing a portion of the design to be missing and exposing a blank area of the coin. And when this happens with a circulating coin like a quarter, it is extremely rare because quality control at the U.S. Mint usually rejects these errors, but occasionally, a few exceptional pieces slip through the system and enter circulation. And the 1978 quarter has multiple documented examples of off-center strikes that range in severity, each variant affecting its value differently. And collectors often pay a premium for coins that are more dramatically misaligned because the visual impact is more pronounced and the story of the minting mishap becomes more compelling. Another fascinating aspect that drives the 1978 quarter's value is the presence of die cracks and cuds, small raised lines, or blobs of metal caused by cracks in the die itself, which transfer onto the coin during striking, creating unique textures and features that are impossible to replicate in ordinary circulation coins. And these imperfections are often viewed as a signature of rarity, making each coin a one-of-a-kind artifact of minting history. And in the case of this 1978 quarter, some specimens exhibit prominent die cracks along the rim and through Liberty's hair, making them highly desirable among collectors who focus on eccentricities and anomalies. Moreover, some 1978 quarters have been found with planchet errors, such as clipped planchets or wrong metal compositions, which add an extra layer of intrigue because they indicate that the coin was struck on a flawed piece of metal, creating variations that are never repeated identically. And when such a coin survives in pristine condition, the market can assign astronomical value, as is evident in the case of the $13 million examples, which are not just collectibles but investment-grade artifacts, sometimes verified by third-party grading services and accompanied by detailed provenance to confirm authenticity and the exact nature of the errors. What makes the story even more captivating is the combination of factors that align to create the coin's exceptional value. It's not just the errors themselves, but their rarity, the visual impact of the mistakes, the historical context of the 1978 minting operations, and the desire among collectors to obtain the most unusual and significant coins from that era. And when these elements converge, the result is a coin that transcends mere numismatic interest and enters the realm of high-value collectibles, commanding attention at auctions and private sales where competition can drive prices to stratospheric levels. And we have seen multiple instances where bidding wars over error coins have exceeded expectations by millions of dollars, illustrating the intense passion and financial stakes in this specialized market. Delving deeper into the technicalities, one can note that the 1978 quarter errors are often categorized by professional numismatists into specific types, such as Type 1 and Type 2 double dies, varying degrees of off-centering measure in percentages, and the severity of planchet defects. And each category carries its own historical and monetary significance, which collectors meticulously document, photograph, and sometimes even write scholarly articles about, creating a rich and detailed body of knowledge that enhances the desirability of these coins, as owning one is akin to holding a piece of living history that demonstrates the human and mechanical fallibility involved in coin production. Additionally, the grading of these coins plays a pivotal role in determining market value, as a coin with extreme mint errors in near-perfect condition, graded as mint state 65 or higher by trusted grading services, can exponentially increase in price compared to a similar coin with wear or damage. And this is particularly true for the 1978 quarter, where well-preserved specimens with clear, striking errors have set records in private sales and auctions, reinforcing the notion that the combination of error type, rarity, and quality is what truly drives the valuation into the multi-million-dollar range. Collectors and investors are also fascinated by the possibilities and theories surrounding why these errors occurred, with some speculating about mismanagement at the mint, unusual planchet batches, or even temporary equipment malfunctions. And while much of this is educated conjecture, the very uncertainty adds mystique to the coin, allowing stories and speculation to enhance the perceived value and allure, which is further amplified when coins are featured in numismatic exhibitions, publications, or online platforms dedicated to rare and unusual currency. Another critical factor contributing to the 1978 quarter's immense value is the limited population of known examples, as experts have confirmed that only a handful of coins exhibiting the most dramatic errors are currently in private or institutional collections, creating a scenario of extreme scarcity in a world where supply is a fundamental determinant of value. And this scarcity, combined with the documented historical significance, the visual uniqueness, and the prestige of ownership, explains why serious collectors are willing to invest sums that most people would consider unimaginable for a coin that, under normal circumstances, would be worth only 25 cents. Beyond the intrinsic numismatic appeal, the 1978 quarter has also become a cultural symbol of collecting for high-stakes enthusiasts, with stories circulating about competitive collectors traveling long distances, sometimes internationally, to secure even a glimpse of such coins at auctions or exhibitions. And in some cases, private sales have made headlines in financial and news media because of the staggering figures involved, which adds an additional layer of fame and desirability, as owning one of these coins is not only a matter of financial investment, but also a status symbol among collectors who understand the rarity and historical context. Furthermore, technological advancements such as high-resolution photography, digital cataloging, and online marketplaces have increased awareness of these rare coins, making it easier for collectors to identify authentic examples, compare variations, and track market trends, which in turn has fueled demand and contributed to the escalation of prices for coins like the 1978 quarter, where detailed photographic evidence allows experts and buyers to confirm die errors, off-center strikes, and planchet anomalies with unprecedented precision, reducing the uncertainty that traditionally plagued the trade in rare coins. The next 1986 D quarter USA coin today, we are diving into an extraordinary piece of American minting history, a coin that has captured the attention of collectors, investors, and historians alike. The 1986 D quarter dollar, a coin that at first glance seems ordinary, circulating quietly among millions of others. Yet beneath its familiar appearance lies a world of errors, mistakes, and anomalies that have propelled it into the stratosphere of collectible value, reportedly fetching as much as $13 million in certain rare circumstances. And the story behind why this quarter is so incredibly valuable is as intricate and detailed as the design etched into its copper-nickel composition. First, we must understand the context of the 1986 D quarter, minted at the Denver Mint, a facility known for producing high volumes of circulation coins. Yet even in such a facility with standardized procedures, human error, mechanical malfunction, and metallurgical quirks occasionally align to create coins that are far from ordinary. The 1986 D quarter that commands such a high price is not merely a coin with its usual features of George Washington's profile on the obverse and the eagle on the reverse. It is a coin that exhibits a combination of rare minting errors, some of which are subtle and require expert magnification to detect, while others are glaringly obvious to even the casual observer. One of the most significant mistakes found on certain specimens of this quarter involves the die clash, a phenomenon that occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving faint impressions of the opposing design on each side of the coin. In these extremely rare cases, collectors have found a 1986 D quarter where parts of the eagle are imprinted faintly onto George Washington's profile, a feature that makes the coin immediately recognizable to seasoned numismatists and gives it a visual allure that goes far beyond its face. Value. Another contributing factor to the coin's astronomical worth is the occurrence of doubling, specifically on the lettering and numerals, a situation known as double die, which result from a misalignment during the hubbing process of the die creation. For the 1986 D quarter, this doubling can sometimes be seen in the inscriptions such as Liberty or the date 1986, creating a subtle yet striking visual effect that collectors prize for its rarity and distinctiveness. Furthermore, certain 1986 D quarters have been identified with planchet flaws, where the metal blank used for minting had impurities, cracks, or uneven surfaces. These imperfections interact with the striking process to produce unusual textures and distortions on the coin surfaces, such as raised lines, pockmarks, or unexpected depressions, each contributing to a unique fingerprint that differentiates one coin from another and enhances the numismatic value. The concept of errors extends to off-center. Strikes, a situation in which the coin is not perfectly aligned during the minting process, leaving portions of the design missing or partially obscured. For this particular quarter, even a few millimeters of misalignment can make a coin significantly more valuable because of the rarity of such occurrences in modern minting, especially during a period when quality control was stringent. Another layer of desirability comes from what collectors refer to as clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin is missing due to an error in the blanking process. In the 1986 D quarter occasionally presents this anomaly, creating a crescent-shaped missing section along the rim, an oddity that transforms an everyday coin into a sought-after collector's piece. In addition to these physical errors, chemical and environmental factors over the decades have affected certain specimens, such as unusual toning caused by exposure to elements in circulation or storage, with some coins exhibiting vibrant hues of blue, purple, or gold, turning each piece into a one-of-a-kind work of art. And while toning alone does not necessarily dictate a $13 million value, in combination with rare minting errors, pristine preservation, and historical significance, it contributes to the overall desirability and marketability of the coin. Grading also plays a crucial role, as coins are evaluated based on strike quality, surface preservation, luster, and eye appeal, with professional grading services, such as PCGS and NGC, assigning numerical grades that can exponentially affect market value. A 1986 D quarter with the errors described in a top-tier grade, for instance, MS 70 or PF 70, if proof-like, would be considered virtually flawless and among the most coveted in the world. And when a coin is both error-laden and highly graded, it can reach astronomical values, sometimes exceeding several $million. The stories behind these coins are also part of their allure. Collectors relish the idea that such a coin survived decades of circulation or storage unnoticed. That is a tangible remnant of American monetary history, minted during a period of transition in the mid-1980s, with economic, cultural, and technological shifts subtly influencing production and design choices at the mint, and even the smallest variations in die alignment, metal composition, or striking pressure can result in an anomaly that transforms a routine piece of currency into a numismatic treasure. In addition, provenance, the documented history of a coin's ownership, can add to the value, especially if it can be traced back to a famous collector, auction house, or discovery that added historical intrigue. A 1986 D quarter that combines provenance, exceptional mint errors, high-grade preservation, and aesthetic appeal can reach unprecedented price points, creating a sense of excitement, almost mythic. In the collector community, the market for these coins is also fueled by scarcity. The probability of encountering a specific error type is extremely low, perhaps one in hundreds of thousands or even millions, making discovery akin to finding a needle in a haystack. And when such a coin appears at auction, it commands fierce bidding from enthusiasts who understand both its rarity and the investment potential. The psychological appeal cannot be underestimated, as owning a coin like the 1986 D quarter is not just about monetary value, but about possessing a tangible connection to history, artistry, and human error. A coin that embodies the unpredictable nature of production and the beauty that emerges from imperfection. Furthermore, modern numismatic research continues to uncover previously unknown varieties of the 1986 D quarter, with specialized books, articles, and online forums dedicated to cataloging every die variation, clash, doubling, and planchet flaw, creating a sophisticated ecosystem of collectors who seek to identify, authenticate, and acquire the most exceptional specimens. Some errors are so subtle that only microscopes, magnifying glasses, or high-resolution photography can reveal them, while others are immediately noticeable. Yet in both cases, they contribute to the coin's mystique and valuation. One cannot ignore the role of economic dynamics in setting a coin's price. Market demand, rarity, historical importance, aesthetic appeal, and professional grading combine to drive up prices. And in the case of the 1986 D quarter, the convergence of multiple high-profile errors in a single specimen elevates it beyond the realm of normal collectibles, to the point where it is not just a coin, but a marquee item in numismatic circles. In conclusion, the 1986 D quarter dollar represents a fascinating intersection of human error, mechanical imperfection, artistic craftsmanship, historical significance, and market dynamics. A coin that is at once ordinary and extraordinary, valued not merely for its metal content, but for the rarity and allure of its mistakes. A coin that tells a story of chance, precision, and the extraordinary potential hidden in the mundane. A coin that collectors around the globe would recognize instantly and covet deeply. A coin that can command prices in the millions due to its unique characteristics, from die clashes and double dies to off-center strikes, clip planchets, unusual toning, exceptional grading, and provenance, making it one of the most intriguing and financially significant coins in the modern numismatic world. A coin that transforms the simple act of minting into an adventure, a historical artifact, and an investment opportunity of unparalleled scale, capturing the imagination of collectors, investors, and historians alike. Last 1982, P quarter USA coin today, we are diving into one of the most fascinating and jaw-dropping stories in the world of coin collecting, a tale that will surely captivate every enthusiast, investor, and history buff out there, because it involved a coin that defies the ordinary. A coin that has mesmerized collectors worldwide and commanded an eye-watering price of $13 million due to its rare errors and extraordinary anomalies. Yes, we are talking about the legendary 1982 D quarter, a seemingly ordinary piece of American currency that transformed into one of the most sought-after numismatic treasures ever produced by the United States Mint. And as we explore the intricacies of this remarkable coin, you will discover that the value it holds is not just monetary, but also steeped in the intrigue of human error, the unpredictability of minting processes, and the passionate pursuit of perfection in a hobby where rarity equates to prestige, status, and financial reward. Now, the story of the 1982 D quarter begins with the Philadelphia Mint's regular production of quarters for circulation, where millions of these coins were struck for everyday use, intended to be distributed across the nation. Yet hidden among the ordinary coins were a very small number of these quarters that displayed striking irregularities, anomalies that should never have occurred. Yet here they were, defying expectations and creating a legend in the coin collecting community. One of the most notable errors associated with the 1982 D quarter is the infamous double die obverse, a minting flaw where the coin's die, which impresses the design onto the blank metal planchet, somehow shifted slightly between strikes, causing elements of the design to appear doubled. And this doubling is not subtle but pronounced, often visible to the naked eye, giving the letters, numbers, and even parts of George Washington's profile a surreal, almost ghostly echo effect that immediately signals to collectors that this is no ordinary coin, and the rarity of such double die errors, combined with the Mint's limited production oversight at the time, means that only a few specimens exist in pristine condition, exponentially increasing their value. Collectors often spend years, even decades, trying to locate these elusive coins, examining thousands of quarters in hopes of spotting the telltale signs of doubling that can instantly elevate a common coin into a multi-million-dollar treasure. In addition to the double die obverse, the 1982 D quarter also exhibits the rare overdate error, a phenomenon that occurs when a die that was previously used for 1 year is repurposed without fully removing traces of the earlier date, resulting in faint remnants of the previous numbers beneath the current date. And in the case of the 1982 D, some quarters reveal subtle traces of the 1981 or 1980 digits beneath the visible 1982 mark, a feature that sends numismatists into a frenzy because overdate coins are historically significant, technically complex, and exceedingly rare, The uniqueness of such coins is amplified by the fact that the overdate is often only discernible under magnification, meaning that only the most observant and knowledgeable collectors are capable of authenticating and appreciating these anomalies. Furthermore, certain 1982 D quarters were struck on planchets that were slightly off specification, meaning the metal discs used to strike the coins were not the exact size, thickness, or composition intended by the mint, and these planchet errors can manifest as coins with slightly raised rims, offsetter designs, or subtle differences in weight and metallic content. And while these variations may seem minor to the casual observer, to a dedicated numismatist, they signify a coin that bypassed standard quality control and therefore qualifies as an extraordinarily rare artifact worthy of high monetary and historical value. The combination of double die, overdate, and off-specification planchet errors in the same coin is astronomically rare, and the 1982 D quarter manages to encapsulate all of these anomalies in a few select specimens, creating what can only be described as the perfect storm of minting mistakes that converge to form a once-in-a-lifetime collectible. Beyond the technical errors, the provenance and ownership history of the 1982 D quarter also contribute immensely to its astronomical value. Coins that have passed through the hands of renowned collectors, featured in prestigious numismatic auctions, or displayed in exhibitions tend to carry additional prestige and often achieve record-breaking prices because their story adds intangible worth that goes beyond the physical characteristics of the coin itself. The $13 million valuation of the 1982 D quarter is not a whimsical number, but the result of decades of careful observation, rigorous authentication, and a global market where wealthy collectors compete fiercely for these rare pieces. The demand for error coins like the 1982 D is driven by the thrill of owning something that the mint itself never intended to exist, a tangible piece of history that embodies both human fallibility and the unpredictability of mass production. Moreover, the 1982 D quarter represents a perfect intersection of historical context and collector psychology. The early 1980s were a period of significant transition for the U.S. Mint, with new machinery, changes in alloy composition, due to rising metal prices and increased production volumes, all of which created conditions ripe for minting anomalies to slip through quality control. And as a result, collectors who understand the history behind these errors recognize that the 1982 D quarter is not just a coin, but a symbol of a pivotal moment in American numismatics, a testament to the complexity of coin production, and a reminder that even in highly controlled industrial processes, perfection is never guaranteed. Another reason for the coin's incredible value is its condition. Coins that are graded at the highest levels of mint state, exhibiting flawless surfaces, sharp details, and full luster, are exceedingly rare, particularly when combined with significant errors. And grading organizations like PCGS and NGC provide authentication and certification that ensures buyers can confidently invest millions of dollars, knowing that the coin they are acquiring is genuine and represents the pinnacle of rarity and desirability. In fact, even slight imperfections, such as minor scratches or surface marks, can dramatically affect a coin's market value, which makes discovering a pristine 1982 D quarter akin to unearthing a hidden treasure, a once-in-a-lifetime find that can change the fortunes of a collector overnight. The allure of owning such a coin is multifaceted. It is simultaneously an investment, a piece of history, and a conversation starter, a tangible artifact that embodies both technical mastery and human error in one compact, gleaming circle of metal. The story of how these errors occur also fascinates collectors and casual audiences alike. Understanding that minting is a highly mechanized process involving the creation of dies, preparation of planchets, striking under immense pressure, and rigorous inspection. Yet despite all these safeguards, anomalies slip through, producing coins that are unlike any other. Coins like the 1982 D quarter illustrate the delicate balance between precision engineering and chance, showing how a single misalignment, a momentary oversight, or an unintended reuse of a die can result in a coin that transcends its face value to become a legendary collectible. Furthermore, the narrative surrounding the coin includes tales of discovery, with collectors recounting hours spent sorting through rolls of quarters, magnifying each one, searching for signs of doubling or off-center strikes. and the excitement of holding a coin that might be the fabled. 1982. D-quarter is an experience few can forget. These stories enhance the mystique of the coin, making it more than just a piece of currency, but a hero of numismatic lore as demand continues to grow. The 1982 D-quarter's value reflects the broader dynamics of the collectible coin market, where rarity, condition, historical significance, and story all intersect to create astronomical valuations. The $13 million price tag is thus a function of scarcity, desirability, and the collective. Recognition that this coin represents something extraordinary is a testament to the fact that even in a world saturated with mass-produced items, a single anomaly can rise above, capturing the imagination.